Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to another video, and today we are here for another severe weather forecast. Now today, we're going to be talking about an upcoming severe weather outbreak and potentially tornado outbreak that's going to bring damaging winds, large hail, and even a couple of strong tornadoes to a certain portion of the United States. So let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the Storm Prediction Center outlook for tomorrow, where we have an enhanced risk of severe weather across sections of southeast Arkansas, west central Mississippi, and northeastern Louisiana. Now this is driven not only by a 30% chance of damaging winds within 25 miles of any given point, but also a 10% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point. Now, I do think that we could end up seeing a couple of isolated strong tornadoes across a certain section of Louisiana and Mississippi, and we'll get into why I think that now whenever we discuss the HRRR's forecast for this severe weather event. Now, we're expecting these severe thunderstorms here to kind of get going in the early afternoon time hours tomorrow. By 1 p.m., we're going to be dealing with some thunderstorms along the line extending from sections of southeast Missouri all the way back into parts of east central Texas, and this will continue to push eastward. But you can kind of see around 3 and 4 p.m. we got these little discrete supercells out ahead of our line of storms in sections of Mississippi and Louisiana, and if any one of those were to tap into the right environment, they could potentially produce a strong tornado or two. Now, this line will continue to push eastward here, developing even further. By 6 p.m., this is going to be moving across sections of central Mississippi and southwest Tennessee, bringing significant damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. Eventually, if we switch things over to the southeastern United States here, we can see that this will continue to push eastward and bring some gusty winds and moderate rainfall to areas like Georgia and South Carolina early Monday morning here. But by the time we get to late Monday afternoon, this system should be out of here. So what exactly is fueling these storms? Well, we've got ourselves a nice layer of surface-based CAPE mixing over with some wind shear here. We've got a few thousand joules per kilogram of CAPE across sections of southeast Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. And we have enough wind shear to fuel these thunderstorms as well. So that is why we are seeing this line of severe thunderstorms develop. Again, we can see that the greatest areas of wind and CAPE crossover is going to be across portions of southeast Texas, parts of Louisiana and Mississippi as well. But if we kind of push this over to the southeastern United States here, we can see that that threat just continues to diminish the further east you go with this system. Now, there's going to be a little bit of resparking here kind of in the Florida Panhandle early Monday morning, but again, nothing really too significant. Maybe some isolated strong thunderstorms develop, but I really doubt that this is going to be enough to fuel anything major. So if we take a look at the dew points here, another thing that is fueling this system, we are seeing dew points rise into the mid-60s and even upper 60s in portions of Texas and Louisiana here. We're talking about 60s and high 50s even into portions of Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, even the Boot Hill of Missouri that are quite possibly, again, we're talking about 60s, upper 60s, and 70s potentially along the Gulf Coast at times. And you can kind of see how this pushes eastward as that line of storms pushes eastward here. Now, if we take a look at the dew points for the southeastern United States, again, we can see they're not going to be quite as intense on Monday morning for our severe weather threat. Again, dew points mainly just going to be kind of in the low 60s, high 50s there. But again, maybe still a couple of isolated strong storms across sections of Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina there. So now that we've taken an in-depth look at what the HRRR is forecasting for this severe weather event, let's go ahead and switch over to the NAM model, which actually paints quite the different picture. We can see that we've got strong to severe thunderstorms developing along our line that are once again across portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, but it's going to be a little bit later into the afternoon where this intensifies. It looks like by 2 p.m. we're still going to be dealing with some strong thunderstorms, though definitely from portions of southeastern Missouri all the way back through parts of southeast Texas. And again, the NAM model still likes the idea of maybe a few discrete supercells that are popping up in front of our line of storms. Not nearly as many, though. It also likes the idea of this being a much quicker moving system here. Again, by 6 p.m., this is over portions of central Mississippi and eastern Louisiana. This will continue to push eastward as this makes its way through parts of Alabama, just kind of gradually weakening there, and that kind of brings us once again over to the southeastern United States, where we can kind of see this line of storms just continually weak out here. Although I will admit, not quite as fast. I do think that this line of storms could hang on a little bit further into the morning time hours on Monday. This is 7 a.m. Still definitely a signal there for some potentially strong to severe thunderstorms across parts of Georgia and the Florida Panhandle. But again, still an agreement there that by the early evening time hours, this storm will be out of here and not really a threat to any part of the United States anymore. Now, the CAPE and wind crossovers look quite similar on this map as they did on the HRRR, although just a little bit more intense and stretching a little bit further north. We can see again, we get that nice stretch of CAPE there over sections of southeastern Texas. Same thing going into portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and even southern Arkansas there, actually. And as we push this over to the southeastern United States, again, kind of just holding on to a very, very weak signal for some CAPE and wind shear mixing over there across portions of the Florida Panhandle, although it is a little bit stronger of a signal there than what the HRRR was showing. and that's probably why it's promoting maybe a couple more stronger thunderstorms into the early afternoon time hours than the HRRR was. Now, dew points do look relatively similar, although maybe slightly higher here on the NAM model than they were on the HRRR. We can see, again, 60s, high 60s, maybe even low 70s for dew points at times for areas right along the Gulf Coast there. So this would be enough to fuel some very strong storms. So again, even if we didn't end up seeing very many tornadoes out of this event, this would be a big-time damaging wind threat. And as we push things over to the southeastern United States, again, that threat will kind of last in the sections of Alabama and the Florida Panhandle, although admittedly not nearly as strongly. Dew points kind of chilling in the mid to low 60s there rather than the high 60s. Now for this next section of the video, we actually have to move on to Radar Omega here so that we can look at the significant tornado parameter values for this event. So according to the HRRR, there's a chance for an isolated tornado or two across sections of southwest Arkansas, eastern Texas, and northwestern Louisiana early tomorrow morning. But again, the threat doesn't really peak there until kind of the early to late afternoon time hours. By 1 p.m., we're seeing significant tornado parameter values here get close to 4 even across sections of Arkansas, which, if you don't know, is quite a significant signal there for a potential strong tornado. So we'll kind of watch out for that. Again, this kind of pushes eastward, just kind of gradually diminishing. And I'd say by midnight, the tornado threat is down to 0 with this system. Now, the NAM actually paints a little bit of a different picture here. We can see that by 7 a.m., significant tornado parameter values are mainly going to be sitting across sections of southeast Oklahoma and northeast Texas rather than northeast Texas and northwestern Louisiana. And by the time we get to noon, these significant tornado parameter values are actually going to be slightly higher than what the HRRR was showing for noon. Again, anywhere from kind of 2 to 2.5 there across sections of southeast Texas and west central Louisiana. And then it just explodes over a large section of Louisiana here. I really don't see where it's getting this from. I mean, sure, there's going to be quite a bit of cape out here in this region, but overall, I would not put a widespread 2 to 3 on the significant tornado parameter for sections of Louisiana, but I guess if the models continue to uptrend, it could end up looking like this. I think that obviously, though the HRRR is going to be a bit more reliable whenever it comes to forecasting the significant tornado parameter values. But again, this is kind of just to show you guys what may end up happening if things were to kind of be a worst case scenario. It also likes the idea of the significant tornado parameter values actually kind of spiking again in the Florida Panhandle early on Monday morning. So we'll have to look out for that. Again, though, I would kind of trust the HRRR on this scenario and where it paints kind of a more tame over a large area tornado threat. But again, a couple of discrete cells definitely could end up producing a couple of tornadoes if things do take a turn for the worse. Before we end off here, I just want to quickly thank all of our channel members. Especially give a big shout out to Mayday, who is an extreme risker on this channel, so thank you guys for all your support. Obviously, becoming a member is optional on this channel. It's something that we just set up recently, but if you would like to show your support, feel free to do so by clicking that link down in the description. You'll get access to early forecasts and even some exclusive streams probably here in the future that I am planning on doing. So again, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.